Alright, what's going on everyone? So I earlier today I posted a video asking you guys to tell me what floors you guys have been having problems with, and I can help you guys out. And I am gonna do that, but I'm gonna do something a little different since that video got a lot of comments. It didn't get a lot of it got a pretty good amount of views, but it didn't get as many. It got so many comments for the amount of views it got, you guys. It's got 300 in just a span of hours. It's crazy, it's crazy. So instead of going over the ones that are most requested, I'm gonna take some time and answer floors 30 to 40, 40 to 50. I'll probably do two separate videos so they don't take too long and so you guys can find them separately. But here we go. First of all, though, I want to cover floor 26 just because a lot of people have been requesting floor 26. I guess it's a little tougher. So I'll do that one, and then I'll go from 30 to 40 and then 40 to 50 in a separate video. So let's see what I used here. 26, floor 26. Let's see, what are you? Okay, Dondo Chaka. This one requires you to use a human, and your killer effect is ×2. So, hey, Mukal, thank you for subbing. Mukal Moo. First of all, before I get too far into this, if you see something like this, where it says killer effect ×2 or ×3, and then human affiliation damage ×3, prioritize the affiliation damage and prioritize the attribute damage over the killer advantage. Because while killer advantage is useful, the other ones give you more. For example, if it's a human affiliation damage ×3, and its killer effect ×5, I know it's ×2 right now, but let's just say it's ×5, you still want to go with the human over the killer, because the human affiliation in this case would be ×3, so that's 300%, whereas if you had an Arankar killer, and it was ×5, it would only be 100% damage. So always prioritize other stuff other than the killer, unless the killer is ×10, in which case that's actually good to prioritize that one. But yes, in this case, using a human honestly is your best chance. Chad can do it, Uryu can do it. In this case, Riruka was able to do it. I don't know that a blue one would be able to do it. I'm sure it would if the stats were high enough. But really, prioritize a human. They'll be able to do it, no problem. I would also prioritize, like I said here, the killer effect didn't really matter. I just kind of went with it with Riruka, and it went fine. This is the build I use, actually. I didn't actually have to use anything too overpowered, so that's what I would go for. Okay, moving on. Here we go for the hard ones. I don't think I had any questions for floor 30, but I'm gonna take a look at that. Okay, this one's a bit trickier because it also requires you to use human, but in this case human damage does a lot more damage. You might also get away with using a tech character with Captain Killer, because at that point your Captain affiliate killer is going to do 80% damage, so you might stand a chance. Still, a human one is the best one to do because you get 500% damage. Let's see what I used here. Similar thing, I didn't use anything too crazy on this. I just prioritized, I think, attack. And I have, if you use Riruka, make sure to have Tenshintai, because Tenshintai does a lot of damage. Honestly, the best one for this one would be to take out Byakuya as fast as you can. Don't use your special on Byakuya. Kenny's the easier one, because Kenny doesn't have a lot of range on his strong attacks, and his special doesn't actually do any damage to you. So he's actually the one you can take a little bit of time to take out. Toshiro's the one you want to use your special on, just because you want to avoid being frozen. Although I think his special doesn't have that big a range, but the range on the Senkaimon quest was all over the place, so be careful with that. Still, I'd say that having a Captain Killer tech character, even if they're not human, you might be able to do it. Even maybe with the Soul Reaper killer, we'll have to see. Just make sure they're ranged, because it'll be a little trickier if they're not ranged. Still, I think the Riruka might be the best option for this if you have her. If you do not, the swimsuit characters are coming around. You might get her then. They'll be coming out in a few days, I'm sure. I'm sure this will still be a thing when it comes out. So, like I said, take out Byakuya as soon as you can. Take your time with Kenny, and special on Toshiro, you should be fine. Let's see here. Also, I'm not going to be doing any of these, guys. I'm sorry. It's just the video would take way too long if I did. I'll just show you what I did and try to give you advice on this one. Technique, attribute damage, killer ×5, and captain affiliation damage ×2. So in this one, you don't have to necessarily prioritize captain, the killer effect. it definitely helps because times 5 means it's 500%. I mean, I'm sorry, times 5 means it's 100% if you're going up against the wrong cards, which in this case I did. I stacked it a lot in my favor, and it was really easy. Still, if you have a technique captain, if you have 2 out of the 3 of these, you're fine. You'll be totally fine if you have 2 out of the 3 of these. Either a technique character with an Arankar killer, a captain with an Arankar killer, or a technique captain with just a different killer. Honestly, 2 out of 3 of these guys, you'll be fine. If you have all 3, you're set. It's not that difficult. Let's see this one here. Soul Reaper affiliation only. This is easy because a lot of characters are Soul Reapers. Power attribute damage, killer times 2, captain affiliation damage. This one, like I said, killer doesn't really matter. It does help, but since it's just times 2 and you're up against hollows, it doesn't matter too much. You can kind of ignore the killer part. If you have it, good. If you don't, it's no big deal. Just bring a power Soul Reaper with captain affiliation. If you don't have a power Soul Reaper with the captain affiliation, take a like a heart captain, or maybe a blue captain. I'm not sure how that will fare with you in the boss, but captain affiliation is the bigger one there. Because it's times 3 damage, meaning it's 300% damage. So obviously Toshiro's the best one to take in this. I think still, if you have 2 out of 3 of these, I think you'll be able to pull it off, even if you don't have the captain one. Still, the captain one's going to make a big difference because it's 300%, but I think you might still be able to do it with power and killer effect alone, just because 200% damage is a lot. But prioritize captain for that one is what I'd say. I'm not going to do the extra ones. I might do that in a separate one. This one, okay. I know I'm gonna get a lot of questions about this one. I used Ichigo for this. This one sucks because not only do they give you have to have a hollow one, it's speed that they prioritize. So there's really only a few characters you can use. You can use Hollow Kaname. I've seen that done with with that character. I've seen it done with Hiyori. In fact, I myself did it with Hiyori. And obviously Ichigo here. If you don't have one of those characters, it's really difficult. But I wouldn't say it's impossible as long as you've taken a Rankar killer character and a hollow that's really good. I think I've seen it done with Aizen, and I've seen it done with Shinji as well. I believe Shinji also has a Rankar killer. I might be wrong about that one. Aizen was able to do it probably because of the instant kill at the end, but it's only 3 floors. If you can get past the first 2, the boss shouldn't be too hard. His special sucks. I think it's Love. No, it's Noitora. Never mind. It's a little bit more ranged. It'll be a little bit tougher, but you can do it. Still, I don't have too much advice for you guys if you don't have a hollow affiliation character, other than, you know, there's the step ups that a lot of you probably got a lot of some hollow killers from round 1. Looking back at it, I don't know that there's many or any hollow characters in round 2. But you can try to summon one. I really wish I could help you out a little bit more with that one, but that's all I got with this one. I think it is possible with anything other than a speed character, but it's gonna be pretty tough. Okay. What are you? Okay. Mind attribute damage times 2 and killer times 10. This is one where they actually are the same. Killer times 10 and mind attribute times 2. It's actually the same amount because if you have a hollow killer and it's times 10, it's 200%, and if you have a mind character times 2, it's 200% as well. As you can see, I used Holybell for this. You can also use Yoroichi. The new Yoroichi might actually be fine for this. If you have her, use her. You don't actually have to have a mind character. I would not worry about that at all. It's not necessary. But if you have it, it's gonna be a lot more. It's gonna be a lot easier. Just make sure that actually, no, you can't use Yoroichi because it's melee resistance. Never mind. Use use someone that's ranged with a hollow killer or ranged mind. If you have either one of those, you'll be fine. If you have the 2 of them, you'll do this perfectly. Just, one of those 2 is fine. I wouldn't stress too much about this one. But it's melee resistance, so keep that in mind. I certainly didn't when I started talking. All right. Let's see here. Oh, this one sucks. Okay. This one's annoying because they switched it up. Last time it was Yoroichi, Shuei, and Kisuke. And Yoroichi was easy because her special didn't actually do any damage. It just kind of let you attack. This is a little trickier because Ishin has the better range. Honestly, I would use my special on Ishin. If you have Kaname, this is super easy because you can weaken all of them. Not everybody has Kaname. A lot of people do because he was in Step Ups round 1. But if you don't have Kaname, you can only take a captain, which kind of sucks. I would say take an attribute damage, take a heart captain with a Soul Reaper killer. It's gonna be tough, I'm not gonna lie, but you want to use your special on Ishin because he has the better range. Either Ishin, or if you can take out Ishin without using your special, definitely use it on Shuei because he can paralyze you. Once you're paralyzed with him, if you do not dodge that paralysis, you're screwed. Kisuke is actually the easy one to take out. His special doesn't have very good range at all. You can avoid it even if it hits you. As long as you don't die immediately, you can survive with 1 health since it burns you. But it's the first 2 you want to be careful of because the first one has great range on his strong attacks. The second one, special, is really difficult to avoid. But it is possible. So that's my advice for you, is take out Ishin as quickly as possible. Use your special leading either the first or the second, but the third one you don't have to use your special on because it's actually pretty easy to take him out. Let's see here. Let's see. Go back here. Oh hey, I used Kisuke for this. I completely forgot. Okay, you don't necessarily have to take Kisuke. I don't think I just did it because I wanted to use him. Obviously, if you have a no affiliation damage, you can do 3 times the damage. Having Dark Rukia on this, or any no affiliation, honestly, with a Hollow Killer, or I think really if you just take a no affiliation, I think you're fine. I don't think you need anything else. Yeah, you don't need anything else if you have a no affiliation character, as long as it's not like any no affiliation should do the trick for this one. In this case, I didn't use a no affiliation even though I had it. I just went with the technique with the Hollow Killer, and I was totally fine. Honestly, even a technique without a Hollow Killer, if you just have a technique character that's good enough, I think you can do this. Having a Hollow Killer certainly helps, and there's quite a few who do, so you don't need everything on this. You either need a no affiliation and you're fine, or 2 out of the 3. This one's kind of easy, I'm not gonna lie. Let's see here. Paralysis. Let's take a look at what I used on this one. Okay, Ukiura. Yeah, taking a wrong car. Mind a wrong car. There are actually several mind a wrong cars. In fact, I think mind is the attribute that most wrong cars are, because there's Parasol Zailoporo, there's this Ukiura, there's Baragan, there's Aroniero. There's quite a few mind the wrong cars, but you should be fine if you just take a mind the wrong car, honestly. And this one, prioritize wrong cars over mind attribute, and you should be fine. Honestly, if you take either one, I think you'll be fine as long as you have a Soul Reaper killer. If you only take one of these, try to have a Soul Reaper killer and you'll be fine. I know Baragan and Ukiura both have Soul Reaper killers. I don't think Parasol Zailoporo has a Soul Reaper killer, but you should be fine anyway since he fits 2 of those categories. If you can only use one of those categories, just make sure it has a Soul Reaper killer, and I think you'll be fine. Let's see what's next. Okay, this is another one that this is a bit tricky. I used Aizen. I know a lot of you guys watching, if you need help with this, if you're watching this for help, you may not have this character, just because if you're watching this for help, you may not have this character since he's so old. It's still common, but so old. Prioritize Hollow affiliation, honestly. I used Hollow Aizen just because I used him in the past, and it worked out well. I used it in full Nadlink when I did him last time. I used a variation this time. If you have Heart attribute with a Soul Reaper killer, you'll be fine. Just because it'll be 200 damage for the 200% damage for the Heart attribute and an extra 20 for the Soul Reaper. In this case, I didn't have a killer advantage because he has a captain killer, but I was still able to do fine. Prioritize Hollow. If you don't have Hollow, go with Heart, but make sure they have a Soul Reaper killer. But let's see here. Okay, sizzles, huh? Alright. Speed with a Narankar killer. This one, you don't necessarily need. Luckily, it's ranged resistance, so there's a lot of melee characters you can use. you don't necessarily need an Arankar killer because it's only, well, no, it does help to have an Arankar killer. I don't think you need it. I think it's actually possible to do without it because speed attribute damage is just 300% damage, which is awesome. I did do it with a golden Yuki. I think last time I didn't need the golden Yuki. I just kind of went with whatever. But yeah, as long as, I think if you have speed attribute, you'll be fine. Obviously try to get a speed Arankar killer. Having freeze helps in the boss if you don't have it. I don't think it's that big a deal. Just make sure it's melee. Let's see, who else was I going to use for this? I think Yoroichi should be able to do it as well. But yeah, this one is kind of, there's a lot of speed Arankar killers in the game. I think most of them might be Arankar killers. But yeah, that one's kind of clear cut. You can use, I'm pretty sure if you use a hollow killer character, you'll also be fine. And yeah, that's it. I'll stop with 39 for this one, 30 to 39, and then actually, let's do 40 as well. Let's do 40. 40 was suck for me. Let's see. You don't have to use this. I used I didn't have a captain affiliation for, well, I did. I don't know, for whatever reason I didn't use it. I just wanted my killer to be an Espada killer, and I just chose Ichigo for this. And I struggled through a little bit, but obviously if you have a captain with an Arankar killer, you'll breeze by. Power captain with a Arankar killer, you'll breeze right by. It's easy to avoid Xylopod's special. It's a little tougher on the other two, but it's still doable. I would use my special, honestly, on Yami. I think he has the best range, and then take out Noitora, however you need to take him out. Still, having two of these, you don't necessarily need the captain affiliation. I would actually prioritize captain over killer, though, even if it's an Arankar killer. If you have a Soul Reaper power captain, like a Soul Reaper killer, that's a captain, power captain, go ahead and use that one, honestly. Mayuri might actually be able to take this guy down just because it would be 4 times damage, which would be awesome. Yeah, 2 out of 3 of these should be fine for you, honestly. I did it with 2 out of 3, and my accessories for hearts aren't the best. So, yeah. And yeah, that's it. That's it for 30 to 40. I'll have a second video about 41 to 50. And then I might do the extra quests when I finish them all tomorrow, assuming I finish them all. So, yeah, there you go, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry I didn't have footage. Like I said, this video would be way too long if I did it with footage because I'd have to do it perfectly. But that's it for this video. Take care.